Today on the channel, I want to talk about sports photography markets, and specifically, what is the best market to become a sports photographer? So let's gear up and let's find out. Hey there, what is up you guys? I am Jerry Lai and welcome back to my sports photography channel. For those of you visiting for the very first time, I currently serve as the Director of Content and Photography at USA Today Sports. I've been fortunate enough to have been in the industry for over 16 years, and my goal for the channel is to help you become a better sports photographer. If you think that I can help you out, hit the like button and subscribe. Last weekend, I had the honor of speaking at the 2021 Virtual Sports Shooter Academy with my colleague Andy Scott, and we shared our tips on how to get a job in the current industry. Thank you very much for those of you able to attend. I hope you got a lot out of the program. And for those of you who weren't able to attend or didn't know that it was going on, don't worry, there will be future opportunities. Sports Shooter Academy comes back every year. You'll definitely want to tune in to this channel because I will be sure to give regular updates for when the next academy will be hosted. Anyways, one of the topics that we touched on during the panel is the topic of today's video, and that is what market is the best market to live in if you want to become a sports photographer. Now, I bet a lot of you are sitting there thinking, it's got to be New York, it's got to be LA. I mean, how can it not be? Now, when we think about New York, it's logical. There's so many pro sports teams out there. There are 2 basketball teams, 2 baseball teams, 2 soccer teams, 2 American football teams, 3 hockey teams, and they host a slew of specialty championships like boxing and UFC. But let me bust this myth right now. You don't have to be in New York to be a successful sports photographer or to get a lot of work. Of course, the lights in the big city may shine a little bit brighter. Okay, a lot brighter. But because there is just so much photography competition in those markets, it is really difficult for a single photographer to grab a lion's share of the work in those markets. Now let's look at my organization as an example. Now I know it's not necessarily the best metric to use because photographers can travel out of market, but I'm going to evaluate success by number of events photographed for us. Disclaimer, this data is fully searchable and publicly available, so I'm not really revealing anything proprietary or surprising here. But 3 of my top 10 freelancers by that metric don't live in major markets. They live in Tampa, Indianapolis, and Pittsburgh. That's quite the far cry from New York, LA, and Chicago, isn't it? So how can this be? Well, think about it. These are secondary markets here in the United States. They do have professional sports teams, but they often don't have all the professional sports leagues in their city. That means there's not that many scheduling conflicts, which means 1 or 2 people can hold down the entire city on their own. So folks in these markets often just absolutely clean up and shoot almost the entire city's schedule. Additionally, some of these secondary markets are strategic geographically and are within reasonable driving distance from other markets. Let's use Pittsburgh for example. From here, you are within driving range of other cities like Cleveland, Philadelphia, and even Washington, D.C., all of whom have many sporting events. I can repeat this exercise with other cities like Tampa, which is an easy driving range to Orlando, Jacksonville, and Miami. So my point is this. While living in some of these secondary cities might not be as prestigious as living in the Big Apple or the City of Angels, you're still working in the big leagues in those markets. Now let's also not forget about the added bonus that living in some of these smaller cities means that your cost of living is lower. You also don't have that infamous traffic to deal with. That's got to be worth something, right? That said, if your dream is to make it in a big market like New York City, definitely aim high and go for it. But just know, it's not going to happen overnight. Sports photography, just like any other profession, is all about paying your dues. No matter the market you live in, you level up slowly. Continue to network and continue to teach yourself new skills, and one day, maybe one day, just that little crack will open in the door that you could get your foot through. To illustrate this point, there was a wonderful speaker who spoke at the Sports Shooter Academy as well. And when she first started, she worked for a small paper in Waco, Texas. But her shift didn't even cover sports. So she ended up going in her own free time to high school events and shot these games and also networked with local photographers. She eventually parlayed this experience and these skills into a job in Dallas. And from Dallas, she picked up even more experience and more skills and now works as a staff photographer in Los Angeles. But circling back around, my point is this: you don't have to be in a major market to be a successful sports photographer. No matter where you live, opportunity does exist. Heck, to be honest, it might not even be your dream to shoot sports professionally for a living. Perhaps your photography goal is to be a D3 college photographer, or a team and individual photographer for high schools. Or perhaps you're just looking to learn enough basic skills so that you could capture action at your son or daughter's youth events. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with these goals. Anyways, that should do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments section down below where you are currently based or where you hope to be based one day. As you know, I got started in Chicago and continue to be based here to this day, but I am very curious to know where all you guys are from. Thank you very much again for watching today's video. As always, if you enjoyed it, hit that like button and subscribe. Stay safe, and I look forward to seeing you all again in a couple of weeks. Bye.